Now it'll take another 5 minutes to get comfortable in the little hovel with a little umbrella. I have to think of what I need for this little. These are Snoop Dogg palette colors for a later time when I get to mixing them. These are atomic fire. I mean, these are the mushroom cloud fireball balls. So there's more of them. But what do I want to add to him? I want to add. What kind of clay is this? It was only $2.49 when it was bought. It's not Dominica, but it's nice and soft, whatever it is.
It's probably just like the store. Like Michael's kind of?
No, Michael's is shit. This is actually do good. There's no answer to that one. where that burnishing tool is. Didn't get put over there. Is it on the table? Oh. Yes. Need a shorter knife. It's such a small area. This is a modified, this is not completely straight. It's got that little bit of a push inlet. But this has been sharpened pretty nicely. So I wouldn't use this for a final cutter, but it's perfectly fine for a small work knife to get the job done for all the... yes. Sorry. Do you think we should begin now? Is that what you're thinking? All right.
Maybe I'll just...
Are they both going?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Happy Tuesday. Okay. I think it was pretty cool to see how these expressions, the little ball of the chin, the mouth, the nose, is going to work with these eyes. So I want to work to overemphasize the eyes that are coming. These are the cheeks, and eyes are the single other most important thing besides the mouth. Probably almost more important. And usually that's where I start. And I'll build downward from the eyes usually. So you can tell where we're headed, how we got from these shapes to here. I mean, it's a catch-up. This is the witness mark from last night showing the smile that's buried inside that section. And these are the sort of proofs. I'm going to move this off now and have a little more room to work. Here we go. All right, eyeballs. I have bad a piece of metal shrapnel came off in my thumb, but Cologne fixed it. Yeah, it's just part of the game. This is really hard to work with, really tough. So I know that it's probably very early, but I'm going to use the posture grinder. I don't know if there's any visual you want on that. Do you know where the handle went? Posture grinder?
Oh, it's right there.
There it is. Yeah, I just think it's a really necessary device when clay is cold. So I don't know if you pick the camera up or care, but I don't know if you can even get any light on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is pretty tough to work with. So I'm simply gonna, now you see how bad the clay is? It's just coming out like like chaff. It's terrible. So this is not the, I can't work with it. Oddly, you could probably, you know, bundle that up, and this is actually going to soften the clay, and since you've completely rearranged its molecules, it now is easier to work with, even though it's mush. And that's actually probably, it feels like you could get a good texture out of it. I'll put that on the side, but it's not going to be it's not going to be useful for the eyeball. Let me see if something else can do that. Usually the simplest explanation of an eyeball is pigs in the blanket in the center, and then a sort of spiraling beach ball effect on the outside. And by the pig, I mean it's going to be white, and the blanket's going to be black. So this is the pupil. I'm going to make it twice as long as the head because there's 2 eyes. Although this is probably way too big. To have a pupil this size on a character that big, who knows? How's it doing? You want to pause?
No, it's fine.
Okay. This is classic clay 101, by the way. I don't know if you sat around and done this, or roll out little snakes, but this is what I learned to do at age 5. It's not that easy to do, because you're trying to keep when you first unpracticed try it, you'll see it'll blob all over the place. But I'm able to get a really consistent, or fairly consistent, tube out of these things now. And this is only because I've done it 1,000 million times since I was 5. But that's something you're going to have to, you know, get good at. Anybody who tries this. So this is the pupil. This is the sort of hot iris. Is the white dot. I'm going to wrap it now. You can see the blanket is going around the center. And it didn't complete completely, so I'm going to call that sauce, and I'm not going to attempt to fix it. But what I will do is I'm going to create sort of a crescent moon second highlight in the eye. Oops, there's plastic left on this piece of clay. The second highlight is, I'm just going to do a little thin white with a very thin black. And I'm going to try to extrude this out to the full length of that longer snake. Okay. So this,
Can I move this?
yeah, oh yeah, please. You put it right there. Actually, that's good. I'm going to need it. Good. So this white is going to go toward the pigs in a blanket. And I'm going to sit it right on the seam, just because then the reflection is kind of sexy and doing something beyond just a single dot. It's doing that extra crescent moon highlight thing that old masters would do. So I finished another little piece because this wasn't quite long enough. This, by the way, is much longer than I need for this particular character. But sometimes you get a certain size and you just have to work it down, smaller and smaller. This is really ragged. You know, the crescent moon is here, the circle's there. When you watch it over time, this will wobble and make more sense or less, but it is kind of organically shiny a little bit. So, all right. I tend to use like things that make a speckled hazel blue, and the yellows make it greenish, I guess, but I'm not going to. So this clay is really soft, so that's what I'm going to work with today. I kind of look forward to working in a warm environment finally, because it would allow a lot of manipulation of clay without me fighting it so hard with my thumbs and fingers. And then you let it cool down, and it's as good as anything to cut. All right, so all I did was compress the sandwich. You saw it was sort of like this, and it's like this. And my goal is to create a spiral at an angle, ultimately sort of at a slant. So imagine I'm going to keep stacking the cordwood at that angle, and this is going to help me eventually create a spiral. I'm making a texture that's going to roll all the way 360 around this thing eventually. The key is, if I cut it at this angle, these will all be fat again, because it is at an angle. So I have to, this is about what I would want it to be, but the truth is I have to do it more because it's at a slant, and that means it's going to look fatter once it's cut at a 45. Hopefully that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pre-shrinking the distortion, hoping that then now it will be twice as fat, almost twice as fat as what it looks like here. All right, that's pretty much it, and then you just have to create the wrapping. There's a certain thickness of a pupil, and so you wrap it like it's animating now as a sort of spinning radius of lines, all emanating from the center. And I'm going to go in and fill in the negative part I didn't first wrap. Probably needs to be compressed a touch to fit in there.